Hey guys, welcome to today's episode of Business Talks with Saakshi. And today we have with us Asia's number one leading business coach, Rajiv Talreja, who is not only my mentor from the past 2 years, but he has helped thousands of entrepreneurs build profitable business models that and has helped them to scale it up to a level, to take it to a level where they have never thought about. So if you are thinking of scaling your business, then you need to come out of fears. You need to discuss your thoughts. You need to talk about it so that those fears that are there in your mind, they get eradicated. So if you want that, then this video is for you. Hi Rajiv, welcome to today's show.
Hello, Saakshi. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Thank you, Rajiv. Thank you for giving time for today's call. And like as we know that you are a serial entrepreneur, you have created great businesses. So definitely we'd start from there as to like how your entrepreneurship journey started. And was it solo? Like that is something that I am interested to know about.
Did I start solo? Well, I didn't start solo. I've always believed in the power of partnerships. So I started as a partnership business. It was back in 2006 where I sat with a couple of my friends in a barista on St. Mark's Road in Bangalore. That barista is now a Hard Rock Cafe. But I sat in that barista, and that's where the idea of Quantum Leap germinated. So this was in September 2006. And we decided to do this together. We decided to start Quantum Leap as a corporate training company. And from 2006 September till about April 2007, we did intensive door-to-door walking into large corporate organizations in tech parks to get appointments with HR managers and training managers. And we had 102 rejections before we cracked our first client. So that's how our journey started as an entrepreneurship venture with a dream to enable workplaces to enhance the skills of their team members. That's how we started as a corporate training organization. And it started as a partnership business. And within a year, my first partner left the business. Within a couple of years, we went through a 25 lakh rupee loss. And my second partner left the business. And while the second partner left, Karan, who's my existing business partner, had proved his mettle and mantle as a team member for 2 years in the business. And that's when I decided to part some equity to Karan, and he became a business partner. And then in 2012, Pranav became a business partner as well. So Karan, Pranav, and I are today building Quantum Leap together. So I've always been a believer of partnerships. That's how my journey has started.
Wow, that's amazing to listen to this. And definitely, like we know your expertise into scalability and profitability of a business system. That's what like you deal with. And as we talk about businesses, especially like businesses which are small, which are handled by a single person, or like people having less number of teams. So the first question would definitely be from very basics, like when to really identify that this is the right time where I should shoot my business towards growth aspects.
See, I was recently watching this video by one of the Shark Tank judges from Shark Tank India, and I loved what she said. I think it was Vinita Singh who mentioned this in a video. She said that running a big business and running a small business, both are equally challenging. There are struggles in both. There's hard work in both. So might as well build a big business. And for me, I think that philosophy makes a lot of sense because I know when a lot of entrepreneurs start their journey of entrepreneurship, they have limited resources. They have limited amount of money. They don't have the funds to build large teams. They don't have the funds to invest in infrastructure. They don't have the funds to go out there and blow it up on marketing. But I truly believe that it's not about the resources. It's not the resources that determine the growth of your business. I think it's the resourcefulness, like Tony Robbins says. It's the mindset that are you doing this just to have an identity that I also have a business? Then you get stuck in just having the business. You don't really look at growing it, scaling it, and all of that? Or are you doing it because you understand that business is an amazing vehicle to make a difference to the lives of your customers by providing high quality products and services? Business is an amazing vehicle for wealth creation for yourself. Business is an amazing vehicle to create employment opportunities and empower the standards of lives of your team members. So it really is about knowing what do you want out of that business. And I always say this, that there is no small business. There's only a small business owner. Some business owners like to keep it small. And it's okay to keep it small if you're clear that that's the way you want it. But the challenge that I have seen in my experience of interacting with entrepreneurs is that nobody is small by choice. They are small because they feel helpless. They are small because they feel, I don't have the resources. But what they forget is that the resources come later. The resourcefulness comes first. The vision comes first. The strategy comes first. And that determines what is going to be the size in which you're going to be operating the business. I hope that makes sense.
Definitely, that makes sense, Rajiv. So, like as you said, business is the amazing vehicle to create wealth, and like not only to create wealth, but it helps you define whether you really want to take it ahead and add value to the customer's needs, or you want to just take it as some other business, be in a competitive market and struggle there.
Yeah.
So, as we know, like scalability has been seen as an aspect by many of the small business owners, where they see it like a very high risk zone. They don't want to enter that. There's a lot of resistance. There is a lot of I would say they feel that there will be many obstacles in terms of financial terms. Monetarily, there will be no freedom, or there are many psychological fears, as well as they don't feel sometimes comfortable floating it on a large scale. So, what's your say on this? Is it really a high risk game, or even if it is a high risk game, like how can we take it ahead?
See, being in business and then trying to limit your risk is like batting in a T20 cricket match with a test match style of batting. If you're in a T20 match and you're leaving every ball outside the off stump, okay, you are playing it safe, you're playing defensive, you're looking at just rotating the strike, that's not going to get you anywhere. If you're in a T20 game, you come down the pitch and you hit the ball straight out of the park. That's how you play a T20 game. Same thing with business. You can't start a business and then be defensive. You can't start a business and then run it with a protectionist mindset or a fear mindset. So I believe that entrepreneurs who have these kind of fears and resistances, they are only going to elongate their suffering. It's called stretching your suffering. Like a business is a vehicle where every activity needs to happen consistently. Marketing has to happen consistently. Sales has to happen consistently. Operations has to deliver value consistently. R&D has to happen on a timely basis. Accounts has to happen consistently. HR has to happen consistently. And overall management has to happen consistently. Now, that's what it takes to build a business. Unless and until one is choosing to operate through a freelancing model. A freelancing model has very different goals. In a freelancing model, I sell, I service. So it's just that I will find a client, I will sell to the client, I will service the client, and I will survive through that income. Freelancing is good for sustenance. It's very good for sustenance. But freelancing does not have scale, does not have leverage. And here's the truth. As humans, we are beings of growth. We look for growth. Now, what ends up happening is this: psychologically, when a business owner starts a business, and let's say they start as a freelancer, the first milestone is, let me get some customers. Then the milestone is, let me now make sure my customers are happy. Okay. Then the milestone becomes, let me make enough money to survive the month. Now, what happens is this: let me get some customers, let me service those customers and make sure they're happy, and then let me survive the month. These three are good victories for the first 3 months, 6 months, for the first starting initial days of your business. But once you start surviving the month and you just get stuck there, then that starts frustrating you, because then you start questioning yourself. Is this the capability I have? Am I not bigger than this? Am I not better than this? Can't I do more than this? There are other people who are doing way more, much bigger than this. We are all beings of growth. But when you take this approach of safe play, Then you get stuck. You're not experiencing growth. That becomes frustrating. That starts eating you up. And then, even if you make a decision, let me build team so that I can leverage, I can focus on growth, they can focus on day to day. Even if you start building that team, if you're not willing to fail, if you're not willing to see mistakes happen, if you're not willing to see some money lost, if you're not willing to see some team members learning and leaving, if you don't have the appetite to handle those instances, then the fear of scalability sets in. So neither are you happy with scalability and the challenges that come with it, nor are you happy with the challenges of survival. So you go into this deep conflict with yourself where you are confused about why are you doing what you're doing. But then you don't like to confront that question every day of why am I doing what I'm doing. So you bury that question and say, how much ever is happening, jitna bhi ho raha hai, hone do. And then you float aimlessly in this environment called business. And I think that is more dangerous and scary than the challenges of scalability. A person really has to experience this to get sick of it.
That's absolutely right, Rajiv. So like, as you said, that if you stay stuck at a certain level, and if you're not thinking about growth, then there's something wrong, because then you will stay in that same pond. Like, you will move around in the same pond where you will not be able to move out. And the most challenging situation that I have seen when I am working with solo entrepreneurs today, I'm coaching like some of them. And when it comes to that level that we just tell them that, you need to move ahead and you need to give your responsibilities to someone. You need to make in charge. You need to make people in charge. That's the time when, again, this hesitation comes in. Like, I don't want to hire. What if I hire and that quality of work is not there? So there are a number of questions that come in our minds as a business owner. And so today I would like to ask you, like, what are the best hiring practices that we can have in a small business? Like, what can be the best way to hire people?
I think, like you said, the first is the mindset. Hiring is not an expense. Hiring is an investment. Hiring gives you the leverage to delegate your work to somebody else, what you're doing currently, so you can focus on growth and expansion. And when an entrepreneur cannot understand that it's actually an investment, it's a leverage to let go of what you're doing today so you can do what you deserve to do to grow that business, then that tells you that there's a problem with the approach of this person itself. The way they're looking at hiring itself is wrong. And people often argue saying, but no, Rajiv, I've tried hiring, but that person learned everything, but they did not perform. The salary went down the drain, or that person learned and left, and all my effort, all that money I put went down the drain. I think what you need to understand is this: hiring is an expense for those business owners who hire incapable people because they don't know how to hire the right person. So it's actually coming out of your incapability of hiring. You don't know how to evaluate attitude, skill, and knowledge. And that's why you end up hiring the wrong people, and they don't perform, they don't deliver. Then you lose faith in hiring. The problem is not with hiring. The problem is with the entrepreneur's capability of evaluating the candidate. So this is where, when it comes to a best practice in hiring, I think clarity is the start point in hiring. You need to clearly list out what are the tasks and activities you're expecting this person to do when you are hiring them for a job role. Once you list the tasks and activities, you need to break down the list of attitude, skills, and knowledge which are required in a candidate to do those tasks and activities. So once you list the attitude, skills, and knowledge which is required in a candidate to do those tasks and activities, then you have your evaluation sheet. And most entrepreneurs don't do this preparation. They walk into an interview blind. It's almost like they'll be doing some work, candidate will show up, and then a team member will say, somebody's come for an interview, and they'll go like, oh shit, yeah, 5 minutes, I'll finish the interview. See, if that's your approach of 5 minutes, I'll finish an interview, 10 minutes, I'll finish an interview, it's reflecting on the level of priority and the level of preparation you're going in with. You're not going there then to gather evidence whether this is the right candidate. You're going there because you've obliged to meet somebody for an interview and you just want to get done. There is no preparation that you've done of job tasks, no preparation you've done of list of attitude, skill, and knowledge, no preparation you've done of what is the screening and selection method I will use to evaluate attitude, to evaluate skills, to evaluate knowledge. When there's no preparation, you ask meaningless questions. And every candidate has good world peace answers to meaningless questions because they're desperate for the job. You end up hiring the wrong people, they don't perform, and then you feel heartbroken saying hiring does not work or talent is not available. I find it very amusing when people tell me talent is not available in a country where every day on Twitter, unemployment crisis is trending. I feel there's enough talent in the market, just people don't know how to identify it. So I think this process that I broke down of listing the job task, listing the attitude, skill, and knowledge, and preparing the evaluation mechanism for attitude, skills, and knowledge is a best practice in hiring that every business owner needs to adopt and develop.
Wow, that's amazing. So all the viewers who are watching today, I guess you've got your homework to do before you take the next interview for your team. So better do your homeworks and then go. So thank you for this. And definitely, like as we move ahead, the next question that might be there in many of the viewers' mind, like when we talk about hiring decisions, the first thing that comes into mind is managing the finances or like the budget. So when we talk about having a small business model and take it from like a level where it was stable kind of and take it to a growth aspect, we know like we need a lot of finance in it, not only from the perspective of hiring but also from the perspective of marketing or maybe product innovations. So taking it further, like what is the best choice, like going towards fundraisings or like having investors inside? So what's your choice? I mean, how to move about that?
I believe in bootstrapping businesses. All my businesses have been bootstrapped. Okay, I haven't raised a penny till date. I started my business with 5,000 rupees of investment. And what I believe is this, that yes, finances become important at a certain stage, but you need to understand, you first get the strategy right of your business model. You get the systems right in every department. You get your skills right as an entrepreneur, and you start developing the skills of your team members. When you do this, you reach a stage of stability. You get stable results from your business. When the strategy, system, skills, and team is right, you reach a stage of stability. Now, when you reach a stage of stability, then you start taking calculated risks. Say, for example, you put money in marketing to see which strategy is working for you. You test different marketing strategies. Now, once you identify a strategy that is working for your business, okay, then you will have conviction. When you see result, you will have conviction. And when you have conviction, then you have the conviction to borrow that money or raise that money or do whatever to get that money. The challenge with most businesses is this: they don't have conviction in their strategy, and they're looking for investors, because today it's become very fashionable to raise rounds of investment. They're looking for investors, not for growth, but for sustenance. No investor is a fool to give money to anybody for sustenance. So I truly believe, if you are playing the valuation game, which a lot of tech startups are playing today, if you have the technology and your business falls under the parameter of being investable, then yes, you need to bring it to a proof of concept stage to get that conviction of investors, and then you follow the template of raising rounds of investments. Most businesses don't fall under that category. See, today, for a traditional business owner, these tech startups are a great confidence killer, because you are reading, oh, X raised this much amount of money, Y raised that much amount of money. And then you start feeling insignificant and low, saying, what are we doing? Our product is great, our service is great, but we are not doing any of these things. The nature of your business is different. Some businesses are lifestyle businesses. Some businesses are growth businesses. If you are in a lifestyle business, the ultimate goal is for that business to take care of your lifestyle. If you are building a growth business, then the ultimate goal of that business is to capture the market. So if it is a growth business, investors will come running after you if you have a solid proof of concept. But if you're a lifestyle business and you're going to take your lifestyle business to an investor and say, invest in my business, the investor is going to laugh and not even respond to your pitch deck. Because at the end of the day, you are just going there because raising rounds of investment is in fashion. So my big belief is bootstrap, earn and spend from your own business. A lot of business owners don't earn enough because they don't do enough marketing and selling. But if you're doing enough marketing and selling, you will make a good amount of money in any business for you to put back in that business and fuel the growth of that business, even if it's a lifestyle business. Beyond your earnings, third would be low cost debt. Fourth would be equity. Equity is expensive. Don't treat it like a cheap commodity that you go distributing in the market for anybody who's willing to give you money. People celebrate raising investors. I have rarely seen anybody celebrate building profitable stakeholders after raising investors. Investment is the start point, it's not the end goal. And many people are being misguided today to look at investing as this exclusive club where you are doing something meaningful. I think that's just the start point. There are too many startups that have a lot to prove in the market on basic economics before they come and teach other businesses about why they should raise investments. So I think the world has to still see a full cycle of all these startups that have raised investments to reach a value point for every one of their stakeholders.
Wow, that's amazing. And like we've also seen with pandemic entering into the world, we've seen like a lot of business models got pivoted suddenly.
Yeah.
Like it got pivoted towards the use of technology much faster than we had thought. Like the things that were planned maybe for 2025 had to be done in 2020, and it also led to collapse of some businesses, like due to not being dynamic in nature, or maybe not using the right conditions of the market, we can say. Now when we move ahead into this, and like when we just start thinking about, like, even after having tools, even after using the particular technology, or like even after using a lot of social media, if I say, like as it is today, the influencers and all those stuff. So like even after using a lot of those things, but still sometimes small business owners don't get that propelling growth that they look towards. So like what can be the reason towards it?
So, like you rightly said, pandemic has led a lot of businesses to make radical changes. I look at the pandemic as an accelerator, uh, minusing, of course, the health challenges and the deaths that happened. I think in the world of business, it was an accelerator, like how demonetization in India accelerated us adopting to digital payments and digital wallets. I think the pandemic accelerated businesses to adopt to online, adopt to technology and things like that. Now, if you can't upgrade, you will be outdated. And that is sad that many businesses collapse, but it's not new. This has been happening in the world for centuries. Anybody who cannot adapt will always perish, right? Now, for a business owner, just adopting online is not good enough for growth. What you need to understand is this: online or offline are just mediums, they are just channels. What matters is the fundamental economics of your business. Do you know who's your exact target customer, who appreciates the value of your products and services and is willing to spend money? Do you have products or services that solve a significant problem or fulfill a significant need or desire for that target customer? Do you have a financial equation where what you're investing into the business is way more, what you're is way lesser than what you're going to reap from that business? So the fitment of these three elements: customer, product, service, and finance, when the fitment of these three elements is right, that's when you see a healthy, profitable business. And then you can propel it through any channel, offline or online, social media or traditional media. Propelling is only one aspect of the business. But if you propel junk, if you propel a not profitable business model, a low margin business model, it's not like being online is going to do any help. If you use tools and technology in a business model where the payment cycle is slow, or where the sales are inconsistent, or the margins are low, not like because you're using automation, it's going to propel your business. Automation, social media, these are enablers, and they just amplify your core strength or your core weakness. They bring out the truth. Let me put it that way. So I think the basics of business is still customer, product and service, and finance. These three are the basic fitment. If you get that right, then it can be propelled in any direction. If you don't get that right, then no matter how much you propel, you're only going to increase your losses and you're only going to burn your money. So it's as simple as that.
So to the viewers, I would say that, maintain this basic triangle that Rajiv is talking about and take it ahead from there, because once the foundation is strong, then definitely, like whatever media it be, whether it be mixed media in future, then definitely it's going to bring some profitability and a good exposure to your business automatically. So coming down to the next question that talks about the number game, which like becomes very, very interesting as we start scaling up, because then the business owner's perspective becomes that, I need to look at the numbers. It should not go down. It should not shoot down. Every other day we are talking about graphs. We are talking about Excels. We are talking about data. And this sometimes affects the brand value or the quality of the services that any business wants to give. Like even if they want to give, it somehow doesn't happen sometimes. So like, what can be the best way that we can keep a check like that the brand value remains intact with the brand when we are trying to scale up?
I'll give you an example here, Saakshi, and I'll give you a personal example. One of my businesses is in business coaching, right? And we today have a team size of 69 members with 32 full-time business coaches. And while we have 32 full-time business coaches, one of the things that we've been very conscious about is quality first, quantity next, which means that as a business owner, I wouldn't be comfortable taking money from a client if the quality of the work that we do is not up to the mark. My school of thought comes from, if my product or service is of no value to you, then your money is of no value to me, because then that money is cursed, that money is not blessed, and that money will not give me sleep, will not give me a peaceful night's sleep. And I value a peaceful night's sleep any day over any other graph in business. For me, that is the number one graph in business, a peaceful night's sleep. Now, keeping that in mind, over the last 5 years, we've built this 32-member coaching team. Now, when we hire a coach, just to give you a perspective, when we hire a coach, the coach is an experienced trainer, experienced coach who's done training and coaching in the market. But when they come into an organization, they are as new as an amateur, because our content is unique, our systems are unique, our methodology is unique, our audience is other businesses. So even if that person's experienced in training or coaching, for us, he's as good as a fresher. And they realize that within the first 3 days of working with us. Now, in such a scenario, we follow a practice that, yes, our business is growing. Yes, we are hiring. But we follow a practice where a coach is not allowed to coach a client individually till they finish 6 months of shadowing a senior coach. So essentially, we are paying a salary to an individual for 6 months without utilizing their bandwidth and their productive output. We are paying them 6 months of salary just to learn. Now that comes from clarity of what do we value the most. It's very easy for me to do a Jugadu induction process and within 2 months or 1 month put a coach on the ground handling a client. It's very easy to do that. A client won't even come to know. Our content is that bloody good that a client won't even figure it out that this coach is an amateur coach. But when you are designing your business model, apart from your product, your service, and your finances, the fourth element to the triangle to make it a diamond is your value system. That's the invisible part that your client will not see, but it will reflect in every decision of yours. Now, what is a value system? A value system is simply, what do you value more than everything else? Now, when you ask yourself the simple question of what do I value more than everything else, then you start comparing. Do I value getting an ROI on a coach's salary from the second month? Or do I value giving a solid coach with amazing depth and foundation to a client? Now, if I say I value giving a solid coach with amazing depth and foundation to a client, that value comes at a cost. And the cost of that is 6 months, I have to pay salaries without any ROI. Am I willing to take that cost? And is my business able to take that cost? Is it still financially viable? Because I can't be a one-sided sacrificing soul who's making decisions to uphold my values, but those values are not valuable for my business financially. So I've designed the model in that way. So I believe when it comes to numbers and finances, you need to have an eye on them. Things have to be financially viable, but while they have to be financially viable, you need to check it against your own value systems as well to see that, okay, what is the core value? What do I value the most? And based on that, are my decisions financially viable? Both have to go hand in hand. Numbers as well as impact, quality, values, commitment, all both have to go hand in hand in the scale up process. I disagree with those who say that you have to compromise on it for some time and then suddenly it'll shoot up. By the time you've compromised on it, you've lost everything that you've built. So you can't take a chance on that.
Wow. So after having such like beautiful insights from Rajiv, I know some of them might still having this question, but I'm already in a mess, how to move out of it. So for those people who are in a mess right now, Rajiv, like I want to understand from you how to boost up a non-performing or a collapsing business model. Like, how to bring it back to stability. It must have been a stable business at some time, and we get fluctuations in a business, and it might be in some mess due to some decisions taken, but like how to bring it back now.
See, the beauty about business is this: everybody has a second chance, everybody has a third chance, everybody has an infinite chance. The question is, are you willing to give yourself that chance? I have seen entrepreneurs who made mistakes die more of guilt than of customer complaints. The customer complaints don't kill you, your own guilt kills you. So firstly, just remember this: every saint has a past, every criminal has a future. So even if you've committed a crime, you have a future. So don't discard yourself as someone who will never fit into mainstream society. Now, keeping that in mind, the beauty about business is that you can just stick to fundamentals. So what are the fundamentals? Who is my target customer who is willing to spend money and needs my products or services? Second, what are my products or services which can solve a significant problem or fulfill a significant need or desire? Third, how am I reaching out to the right customer, through which channel, with what kind of content? That's your marketing strategy. Fourth, okay, at what price point can I reach out to my customer, which is competitive and profitable? If you get these four fundamentals right, you can bounce back any day. Right customer, right product or service, right marketing strategy, right price point. The price point has to be competitive from a customer's point of view. They should see and feel like, Arey, yeah, this is value. I mean, there are alternatives in the market which are at the similar price point. It has to be competitive and it has to be profitable for you. The marketing should be to the right customer through the right channel, offline or online, with content which is of value, and it has to be done consistently. So marketing is about channel, content, consistency. And the product or service is about making sure that you're offering something that is significant, that solves a significant problem. And it all starts from your customer. Who is your customer? That is where the start point of any business is. So even if you are in the deepest of crisis, if you just ask yourself these four fundamental questions of customer, product or service, price point, and marketing channel, you have a pathway for you to start taking action to come out of that mess, come out of those crises, and start stabilizing your business. Business is basics. You got to do the basics right. There's no earth-shattering gyan. There is no lightning striking and heaven's doors opening and angels descending and calling you the chosen one. It's about doing the basics consistently.
Wow. So I guess like coming back to the basics and identifying what are the loopholes, fixing them and moving a bit ahead. And I guess you need to rebound back fast so that you're not in the same trap going like, sitting there only that I cannot move out. So
yeah, I think it's the self-victimization that keeps people stuck. Logo ko maza aata hai rone mein. People enjoy self-pity. So they like being stuck. That's why they don't exercise decisions.
So coming down to the next question, like, why do you feel like business owners need coach?
See, I believe it's not just business owners who need a coach. I believe anybody who is committed to playing a bigger game needs a coach. Sports, okay, politics, entertainment industry, business. Anybody who's committed to playing a bigger game needs somebody who's standing at the boundary line and observing their technique. I remember this one story that has stayed with me forever. I once heard Rahul Dravid share this at an event where he said that I think it was an India-Pakistan series when John Wright was the coach of Team India. So I think it should be around the late 90s or early 2000s. And he shared that Rahul Dravid has the habit of going on his back foot and playing a square cut stroke to hit the ball to the boundary. And he said that in back-to-back matches, when he was playing the bouncer, going on the back foot and playing the square cut, the ball was taking an inside edge and crashing onto his stumps. And he got out the same way for 3 to 4 matches, 3 to 4 innings consecutively. And he did not know why this was not working, because this was a signature shot. Like, you can visualize it in your head, Rahul Dravid standing tall, going back and playing the square cut. It was a signature stroke. But John Wright was the coach of Team India, and John Wright pulled him out. And John Wright told him one thing. He said, look, when you're holding the bat a little more higher than the surface of the bat starting. So you're holding the grip a little higher. But because you're holding the grip higher, when you're playing the square cut and that ball is in speed, the bat is turning in your hand. And because the bat is turning in your hand, it's taking an inside edge and crashing to the stumps. So instead of holding the grip a little above, hold the grip closer to the surface of the bat. So your grip is tighter. And when your grip is tighter, then when the ball comes and you play that shot, then you are playing it with the full surface of the bat and the bat is not turning in your hand. He said, as a player, I was focused on the ball. I could have never noticed something that is right down my nose. And he said it was the coach who was the observer, who was having the outsider's perspective, that made me make a 1-degree shift. It was not a dramatic shift. It was a 1-degree shift. But that 1-degree shift was the difference between getting out and hitting a boundary. And for me, that story has stayed with me forever. I believe anybody who wants to become a somebody needs a somebody else. So if you want to become a somebody from a nobody, you need somebody to take you there. And a coach is not a crutch for a person who's in problems. A coach is an accelerator for a person who has aspirations. So as long as you have aspirations, no matter what stage of business you are at, you're struggling, you're surviving, you're stable, you're successful, as long as you have aspirations, you need somebody by the boundary who's helping you reflect on your choices, who's giving you new perspectives, who's challenging you to do what you said you will do, who's handholding you through those challenges when you're facing and falling flat on your face. If somebody does not see the merit of that, according to me, that individual is too egocentric, because they believe I will do it by myself. Why would you want to do something by yourself when you can have somebody who can make it simpler for you? You don't have to prove anything to yourself. So let go of that ego game and surrender to that person who you resonate with. Surrender to that person who's produced the similar results that you would like to produce in your life or in your business. So I believe having a coach is a badge of honor. The quality of the coach you have determines the quality of the game that you're playing. And if you don't have a coach, you don't even exist in the playground. That's the truth.
Yeah, even this reminds me of one experience that even I had, like, because even I am being mentored, trained by some of the coaches, and like today when I reflect back sitting at this position, and when I am interviewing you, I still remember that conversation that we had, that I have various topics to write a book, where to start from, and you said just start writing. I still remember that one line of message of yours that has totally turned down the story. So sometimes it's just the observation, it's just that one support that you need to move ahead. And as you said, observations play a key role. So sometimes you can't see what's happening around, whereas others can see it very well, maybe because of their experience also, and alongside, like, it's another person's perspective also. So thanks for sharing like these lovely insights and taking me back to the memory lane from where it all started. So coming to Quantum Leap, like, what are the products, what are the services that you offer under Quantum Leap?
Well, as Quantum Leap, we are a business coaching company. We believe that the deepest impact can be had when you work with a coach one-to-one. So we provide one-to-one coaching services to small and medium business owners who want to scale up their business. Now, beyond the coaching, we also do a lot of training programs and educational initiatives for entrepreneurs on management, on business modeling, on marketing, on sales, on operations. So we have two models. One model is where people come, learn, go do it by themselves. The other model is a deeper engagement model where we handhold them to scale up their business. So that's what Quantum Leap does. We are in the business of enabling entrepreneurs, equipping them with the skills and knowledge required, empowering them with the attitude that is required, and being a part of their journey so that they can create a more positive impact in the lives of everybody related to their business. So that's what Quantum Leap does.
There's also one more traditional question that we ask everyone coming down to business talks with Saakshi, and that is like, whenever we talk about businesses that stay long in the market, basically there's a vision behind it. There's a visionary thinking. There's a thought that, I need to achieve something, or we need to do something big as a business and definitely add value, as you said earlier. So what's the vision for Quantum Leap coming down the years?
I think for me, the vision of Quantum Leap was the first thought I had in 2007 when I started Quantum Leap. The first thought was, we want to build a company that will last for a minimum of 100 years. And how do you achieve that vision of lasting for 100 years? You achieve that vision of lasting for 100 years when you are going to be relevant for 100 years. So how do you stay relevant for 100 years? You stay relevant for 100 years when you're listening to the audience, you're listening to the market, you're understanding the needs of your customer, and you're fulfilling those needs. So for us, the most basic vision is this company should be a minimum 100-year company. But if you ask me what is the longer term or what next kind of a thing, today what we are building is an ecosystem to support small and medium business owners. We started with training programs for small and medium business owners. Then we added coaching and consulting for small and medium business owners. Now we are bringing in technologies for small and medium business owners. We are also adding a vertical for investing in small and medium businesses. So everything that a small and medium business owner needs: capability, cash, connections, technology. We are looking at building an ecosystem for small and medium business owners. So that's really the journey that we are on at this point of time.
Wow, that's amazing. So to hear that, we want to live on. And coming down to the last part, where I would really want you to give an advice to small business owners, like what will be your best advice for the day?
My best advice to small and medium business owners is to not remain small. I mean, I truly believe that every business has an opportunity to grow, to scale. There is no industry on this planet where people are not making money. The difference between people who are not making money and people who are making money is that the people who are making money are building something that will live beyond them, that works beyond them, and impacts beyond them. If you actually think about it, small business owners are thinking about, how will this business help me sustain my living? They're thinking of impact for self, and just sitting and doing everything by themselves. How can I do this? How can I do that? Okay. And therefore, the life of that business is limited to the life of that person. Think of a business which can live beyond you, that can impact beyond you doing the work, and can make a difference to people, not just to you, but to people beyond you as well, your teams, your customers. So think beyond yourself. That's going to be my advice to small and medium business owners, because when you think beyond yourself, you will not remain small.
That was amazing, Rajiv. Thank you so much for being here, sharing such wonderful insights and small tips and tricks to make our businesses better in terms of profitability and scalability. Thank you for being here. And me and my team at Mindynamics wish you years of success to come in the future. Thank you so much for being in the show today.
Thank you so much, Saakshi. I love those questions, and all the best to you and your entire team at Mindynamics. I mean, you are extending support to those that most people ignore supporting. So that means a lot. That speaks volumes about who you are and what you're doing. So go ahead, more power to you. May you shine the lives of so many people with your light. So all the best to you as well.
Thank you, Rajiv.
Thank you.
So if you want to take this learning ahead, then you can take it ahead in the form of a book curated specially for small business owners, where there are a lot of insights of how you can run your business solo, when you need to scale up, what is the best way to hire your teams, how do you take that leap from ideation to making your business stable, to taking it towards sustainability or towards growth. So if you want to find all these answers, then this book can be definitely a best solution for you. how to get the book? Just check the link down below in the description box, click it, and order your copy today. See you in the next video.